Show me war face. Show me war face. Show me war face. You don't got a war face. That's quite the opposite of a war face. Come. Up, up. Up, up, up. Up, 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 up. Man, no punk. No punk ass bitch. Can't catch it. Man, you just punk ass little bitch. That's what you is, boy.
Look at this. Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Surprises. I think we could look. Yeah, I think we could brainstorm some good flags for guys, right? Well, I know they do have flag competitions. Like they'll have like, hey, design us some flags. You know, so though I honestly would actually unironically be interested in being like, hey, yo, let me have like a sit-in and legitimately like, you know, be one of your like full-time flag designers. Like legit, dead ass. Sitting flag, yeah. Like have like the bottom one be green where it looks like on one end you got like a little bit of farm stuff going on, or on the other end you have, you know, like some, you know, industry. And in the center you kind of have like a cog that looks like a sun where you have like a star in the center of it maybe. And then like those like boop 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 boop, you know, those things that kind of like what, you know, kind of like the rising sun. Like, you know, what do you think of either like the Arizona state flag, you know, a little bit kind of like that idea. And yeah, just that, honestly. I was thinking maybe have like the three three vertical bars, but just have it like the bottom one, and then just have like a, yeah, the two filled up with the like doop doop doop, yeah, that going on. Because I've thought of a similar idea with the like a Cascadian flag idea like that, but instead of like farm and industry, it'll be like a valley and then like Mount Hood in the center with well, I guess that'd be more of an Oregon-centric one. But, I mean, something along those lines. Font of the Pacific States flag, even if it's just basically just California. Well, that's not actually the Pacific States of America flag. That's the mountain divisions. So that's technically a military banner. The Pacific States of America is literally just the 48 stars. That's it. It's just blue background, 48 stars, and it's honestly just kind of a little low-key, kind of lame. I'm just gonna be honest. I mean, it's nothing really. It's just like they took like the star, like the, you know, the stars at the time, and just like took that off of the American flag. It's like this star's now, and this is our flag. It's like okay. It's not exactly like, you know, strikes me as like, oh yeah, that's a unique flag there. I mean, I guess I get it a little bit when it comes to kind of context. I mean, honestly, like the New England Confederacy or whatever that, like the New England states, like that one's a lot more of a cooler looking flag. I mean, I like that one a lot more. And then some of the different like CSA flags, the Combined Syndicates of America flags, that eventually you can, depending on which route you take, you know, those are actually pretty cool. The original one, which is this one here, I mean, it's generic. I mean, it's basically an anarchist flag with an IWW logo in front of it. I mean, if you really think about it, it's not like, you know, super standoffish. Isn't bad either for proto-fascist state flag. Yeah, honestly, I like it too. I mean, like the alternative America flags, to me personally, kind of stick out a little more. Seems like there's a little bit more love, you know, put into it, I guess. I like the syndicalist version of the Norwegian flag. That's actually pretty cool. Because it's kind of like the, it's kind of similar to the idea I had for the Russian syndicalist one, where it's like, yeah, it's a landscape, but the landscape is the fjords. And then it has, in the top center, like, you know, just the traditional syndicalist, like, hammer and a torch. And then from there, it's just, you know, red, I think the cog and all that is blue, and then the white is all like the fjords and the bottom half of it, if I remember correctly. Which honestly I think is more reminiscent towards the actual like real life version of the like leftist version of the Norwegian flag. I think it's just more kind of reminiscent to that a little bit, which honestly it still looks pretty cool. Bitch, get out of here, bot. Bitch, get food. Get double tapped. I think the British City flag is simple but well done. I also like how the French City flag is based off of Kurdish comment. Yeah. Well, actually, I think the British City flag is, there's technically two versions of it. I like the second version of it where it has, like, a little bit of green in it. I guess it would technically be called the Union of Britain. The Union of Britain. The Union of the Britain. Well, honestly, like, a lot of their flags are actually pretty cool. It's not to say that, you know, their flags suck or nothing, like, I mean, or else I wouldn't be supporting their stuff, you know, with buying their flags. I mean, you know, so it's just like, I mean, obviously I don't think all their flags suck. A lot of them are actually pretty cool, but, I mean, all in all, I mean, I feel like they definitely could probably have a couple, you know, maybe full-time guys, have like a little team or something. I know they already got a team and shit, as it is. This other, yeah, I'm thinking about buying one. I don't know if I want one of the top banner ones, the Ukrainian version of the Gatsun flag, which is basically a fuck off Russian warship in Ukrainian with the Gatsun snake, you know, on the front of the Ukrainian flag. I've been honestly thinking, like, which one of these do I want? And they also have a European Union flag with an extra star on it, with the Ukrainian coat of arms in the center of it. It's kind of a nice little touch. Have you heard Hank Trill's propane money? No shit. Of course. Favorite Hank Trill so far? I mean, man, dude, there's some Hank Trill out there that's just some fucking straight fire. Like, I really don't even know. I mean, honestly. There's definitely some songs that are like, you know, it's definitely not like the fire of the fire. But you can tell there were like some of the coals, you know, to kind of help keep that fire heated, you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's, like, so they're like, it's still good, but it's just like, I can tell they ain't like the fire that you're, you know, trying to flex, you know? There's some songs that are like that a little bit. But there's definitely a pretty good amount. Putin diss track was fire. Oh yeah, that was. Especially the last verses. I'm so high I could speak Ukrainian. All these drugs going straight to my cranium. You know, I'll be smoking on that vibranium. It's just like, fuck. It's like, dude, it's like, Jesus, too much. It's like you're fucking like shooting 50 cals at me each time. It's like boom, boom, and boom. It's like, oof. It's like obliteration each time, son. I've heard Swahili. You know, I think that's one of the songs I haven't heard. What are you... Can you not lick me? Why do you keep like... Well, there's actually a new song that came out 4 hours ago. Hank Trill, Django, featuring Sway 2 Times. Here, this sounds new. Oh. Alright.
sway be hard to work with, it's so hard to deal with them. I'm like, bro, don't take it personal, been like that since little nigga. They like, sway, why you don't fuck with me, it's hard to chill with.
Honestly, it's actually not bad.
Me and you, we can't relate. I wake up and give me some cake, don't give a fuck about the rap.
It's actually the first time I heard a song that features somebody, but the person featured starts first. So that was a curveball. It's like, alright. He's definitely got some beat. He's got some slaps.
Talking that bush or tomato. My nigga hate you when you get some paper. I said patient little nigga, I waited. Cut them off, now they thinking I'm crazy. Yeah, I'm crazy, I know that you hate. Nigga hate on me because they ain't me. How the fuck you my family? I done gave them little niggas my style and swag. Them little niggas should've thanked me. I stood on the block with the robbers and killers. Nobody gave me shit.
Almost halfway through the song. Where's Trill?
Motherfucking phones, but it never made them rich. I talk about them on these motherfucking songs.
It's a good song, but it was the main. It was the mains. Fat appetizer. Oh, I'm thinking actually this is probably like Hank Chill produced the beat. But I'm thinking this guy is actually the main, obviously the main vocal for it. Oh, there he is!
I don't give a fuck who is you. If I see your bitch, I'ma smash it. If I see your tires, I'ma slash it. Feel like Kobe, never pass it. See your granny, I'ma smash it. Crack rocks, I'ma stash it. I just pulled up in a brand new whip. 38 up on my hip.
Damn.
Cody and I sip. Drip up on my lip. Aiming at your nips. You gon' end up getting ripped. When I pull up in this whip, cut you off, you gon' get sick. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 burners on my lap. I sip too much codeine, now I gotta take a nap. God damn, if you fuck with
Sip too much codeine, now I gotta take a nap.
Hey, Trill on the track, got a Louis V bag. God damn.
So this is more like Sway 2 Times featuring Hank Drill. Still a good song, actually. I like it. Still definitely one I like. There. Oh, that's Swahili.
Up in Hank Trill's World Tour, we're going to Swahili. Oh, man,
Swahili. Goddamn.
I'm so high, I can speak Swahili. Cruising down your block, on my chop doing wheelies. Smoking on this gas, got me feeling real silly. I can speak Spanish, so I'm going to Chili's. I'm so high, I can speak old English. I'm off the jiggers like Butthead and Beavis. Smoking on that gas straight out of Norwegian. Bitch, you know I'm all about my green like a vegan. Smoking on that Russian, I'm so high, I can speak Dutch. Shoot your leg, you need a crutch. I be smoking too much. Break into your house, smoke a rock on your couch. I just smoked a pound from my neighbor down in Laos. I'm so
I love this.
Cruising down your block on my chop doing wheelies. Smoking on this gas got me feeling real silly. I can speak Spanish, so I'm going to Chili's. God damn, G, let me slam on your slam, please. Off the jiggers from taking too many weed candies. I've been smoking on this cracky. Need to take a nappy. Bitch, I got the munchies, so I need to eat a snacky. Are you Chinese or Japanese? Bitch, I'll keep that strappinese. Bitch, I am a cracker, so I'm speaking crackanese.
Crackanese.
When I'm in the booth, I'm spitting fire on the trackanese. Oh man, goddamn.
Oh man, goddamn.
I can speak Swahili. Cruising down your block on my chop doing wheelies. Smoking on this gas got me feeling real silly. I can speak Spanish, so I'm going to Chili's.
Here's a little treat, you chunk boy. There you go. Damn, that also indeed was a good one. So I was high, I could speak. Yeah, so that's a line he's used before. I still like it when he does the Ukrainian version of it too. I like that too. but I think chill's just... It's too much for this world, man. It's too much for the world, man. I want to see what going down. King of Trap. I've heard that one before. I mean, yo, like, I've listened to most of his songs. There's only a couple I haven't heard yet, but that one's definitely one I've heard. Man, you silly little poof. Putler. Butler. Butler. Buh. He's known as the Butler. You know, help you, baby. Oh, you sweet little thing. What easy? You sweet little thing. You big goof. You big goofball. What? Oh my lord, you punk. You little punk. Like, I just gave you a treat. You just got like 3 treats in the span of like what? Like 25 minutes? Like, come on, Doge. You can't be asking for more. I just gave you some food too. Oh my god. Or whatever we talked about last night, blasting and chill and dude register recognized it, lol. Nice. No, I'm definitely gonna have to roll up on that at some point. see if people recognize it. Or at least see if that happens at work. Sandra Hall reacts to TJ Kirk's cringe tweets on Ukraine. Oh my fucking god. I'm so sick of lefty dude of just being like, oh my god. Gotta escalate. Because they bad. It's like, oh my god. I remember, like, putting a comment in there or some shit. And basically, it's just like, oh, so you think war is just strictly unjustifiable and bad? So is America, like getting involved in Nazis bad? And it's just like, what? It's like 2 things. 1, nice straw man. 2, nice Godwin's lost fallacy there too, bud. I mean, it's just like, because it's like invoking a premise like, oh, hey, if war bad, then even, like, defend yourself against an invasion bad. It's like, what? It's like, no. Like, obviously, if you're being invaded and shit, you should defend your home. Like, duh. I mean, when it's just like, but that kind of proves the point, though. Like, of why it's unjustifiable, because it's, forcing you in a position where you have to, like, fight to defend yourself and shit, where it's just like, where it's very likely there can be easily things that are solved more diplomatically, so it's just like, I mean, what? I mean, it's like, what a way to, it's like, yeah, that proves the point. I mean, America getting involved in World War II is like, considering Japan did a preemptive strike, and that also is a part of my point, like, yeah, due to the Axis powers and their alliance with Germany, it's just like they don't fucking like want to think for like 2 fucking seconds about this shit. It's like, I don't know, use your fucking brain. Feels like self-feed machine. Feels like, yeah. I mean, it really is, honestly. I don't know Ukrainian farmers gotta check Russian tanks. Of course they can. Hey, you don't think they've been through this shit before? They know what they know what's up. I mean, yeah, like, honestly, all in all, it's not like I can't have a laughing a goof of some, you know, memes that are coming out of the war, because there have been a lot of memes. There's been some memes and all that shit. It's like, it's not like you can't have fun with them. Like the Ukrainian soldiers dancing with, like, the N-Law in the RPG, you know? It's just like, I mean, you know, I mean, that's funny. You know, with, like, you know, Russian hard base in the background, like, that's amusing. That's funny, you know? It's like, you can have laughs and goofs. You know, I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's just like hyper tribalistic and stupid, and really just kind of shows like there's such a vast amount of our species that has not evolved away from this primal, like, shaved ape tribalistic urges and shit. And it's just like, I mean, it's not like you can't, like, totally get rid of that, but we, you know, but it's shown not just, you know, contemporarily, but historically, that we have been able to adapt, you know, these tendencies into things that are for better. I mean, I think, you know, one way is, like, you know, with sports and, like, competition in that sense. Like, that's one, you know, that's, like, kind of a healthy way of, you know, releasing some of these more, like, quote, tribalist tennis stock out, because you're, like, you root for a team. It's like, yeah, go our team, fuck their team, you know, type of shit. You know, so it's just like, and, you know, I'm definitely, you know, could get down with that shit. I mean, because it's fun. You know, so it's like there's obviously reasons why we have these urges and why we like to kind of, you know, like, kind of, you know, succumb ourselves to those urges and shit. But it's just kind of like, you know, it's like, I mean, just because there's, like, a war and there's obviously, you know, one side that, you know, is utterly beyond unjustified in their actions and shit, doesn't mean we should just be, like, utterly, like, oh, everything about our team good now. It's like, no. Because honestly, especially since it's been more than a week, there's definitely been, you know, reports, you know, coming out about, you know, what some fucked up shit that, you know, different elements of the Ukrainian armed forces that are doing. Of course, not all of them. Not even want to say a majority of them are doing that. But, like, I mean, it's not good. It's like we shouldn't let, like, you know, certain elements of, like, the forces, you know, just execute POWs or humiliate or, you know, terrorist citizens, or, like, maybe pro-Russian and sympathetic who might be in the eastern side of the front lines, like in the Luhansk Donetsk regions. It's like, I mean, that shit shouldn't be happening. I mean, those type of people should most certainly be fucking held accountable for it. I mean, all fronts. When it comes to, you know, just, you know, civilian terrorization. You know, when it comes to those people specifically, yeah, hold them accountable. I mean, it's just like, it just feels like there's so many people who just are willing to just turn the fucking blinders on, you know, like, really hardcore, and not just, like, think about it just a little bit. I mean, and then you get bitched at for not explaining yourself right, or being, like, pro-Russian, or you're not, you know, adequately, like, you know, being pro-Ukrainian enough, or what, or something like that. It's just like, what? I mean, it's just so dumb. So because they evaded it, which quite frankly, that take disgust to me. Yeah. And, I mean, I haven't, luckily, at least in my own circles, have seen that, but I've seen it's okay because, you know, they've been committing war crimes. So it's just like, it's basically saying it's okay for us to do a war crime because they've been committing a bunch of war crimes. It's like you know, it's like two wrongs don't make a right. It's like just, you know, and also, like, the Ministry of Defense, or, like, the Ministry of Defense and shit was like, yeah, you know, we're gonna kill them and slaughter them like pigs and shit. It's like, that's utterly a fucking disgusting thing for the military to be, like, okay with. And I hope that Ukrainian forces don't I mean, unfortunately, there will be a lot of them that will, but I hope that most of them don't fucking oblige to that fucking idea. It's fucked up. I mean, it's fucked up that the invasion is happening in the first place, and it's fucked up that, you know, all these people are forced in this fucking predicament. I mean, like, my point is, let's not make it worse for everybody. Because, you know, if Russians are surrendering, and some of them, you know, like, and, like, let's say, like, a squad of 20 Russians, you know, surrender, put down their guns, and they're immediately, like, slaughtered, and, like, 5 of them escape, what the fuck are they gonna think? You know, they're not going to think to surrender again. They're going to think, oh, fuck, well, alright, I guess we, you know, don't surrender, so fight to the death now. It's just going to be a lot more of a bigger, bloodier, you know, death machine. I mean, so it's just like, why, you know, just enable this further? I mean, because obviously, you know, especially when it comes to Russian High Command, they have no qualms about giving a fuck about any of that shit. They're gonna, you know, continue their push regardless. But at least for the conscripts and the fucking boys on the ground, you know, at least, you know, the least they can do is, you know, have an opportunity to lay down their arms and have a potential to at least tell their folks back home that, you know, the fucking lies that, you know, were swindled to them and shit. And to, you know, urge, you know, resistance back home on this. And maybe even offer, you know, them opportunities to maybe collaborate or defect, even. Potentially even, like, give amnesty to those who are willing to help and collaborate with them. You know, when it comes to Russians who retreat and, or at least, you know, surrender. I mean, it's just like, honestly. I mean, because if different Russians on the front lines are saying, hey, you know, we'll even, like, you know, help you and let you, you know, if you want, be a naturalized citizen, if you're worried about repercussions back home, if you want to surrender and help us. That sounds a lot better than just shooting them. I mean, it's like giving them, you know, it's like make it, you know, more demoralizing to be a part of the Russian task forces and in the Russian military. Make them feel more incentive to work with you and your military force. Because fundamentally, that's a better outcome and a lot less bloodshed. And if anything, could potentially lead to more peace, because then more and more Russian troops are just going to be more convinced to lay their arms down and surrender. Because then they could potentially help collaborate. And honestly, if it's like, if enough Russian forces defect and have, like, you know, Ukrainians form their own, like, you know, Russian defectors brigade or some shit, you know, maybe they can use that as an opportunity to potentially even fight back at some of these deployment areas across the borders. And even put up even a more bigger defense, and I'm sure a lot of those Russian troops would be like, oh, fuck yeah. Some of our high command dudes are, you know, still chilling out in this area. So if we could get a surprise attack on them, and we know the ways over there, because at least especially a lot of those Russian defectors, they know where these deployment areas are. They know how those are set up and shit. I mean, it's useful information. And plus, if, like, the deployment zones are literally being occupied by Ukrainian forces with help of defected Russian troops, I mean, like, how that's gonna look even more fucking bad than for Putin and his fucking government and shit than it already does. So honestly, it's just more of a benefit to try to incentivize, you know, his Russian troops further to surrender, and if anything, you know, turn their arms over and help you out. Because honestly, I feel like it, you know, just considering so much of these different dudes who have surrendered and shit, and, you know, things they've been saying, if anything, if offered, they might be willing to help. Honestly. Because they didn't want it either. And again, there's definitely, you know, good chunk of elements of the Russian military, especially in Ukraine at the moment, that are totally okay with this and gung-ho with it and don't suffer from these demoralized issues and shit. And mentioning and talking about them, fuck them. Like the, you know, these paratroopers, like the pilots, they're actually, like, legit, you know, long-term military service members and skilled, you know, troops and shit. You know, the different, like, you know, Spetsnaz forces and shit, the Chechen, like, whatever, I could give a fuck about. But, I mean, at least when it comes to, you know, like, all these other fucking conscripts that are just, like, forced, you know, into this area with old warehouse, expired, outdated bullshit. I mean, it's like, honestly, give them incentive to turn over. You know, turn their fucking banners over into Ukrainian banners. I mean, not all of them would probably take it, but I guarantee you a good chunk of those POWs would take that fucking offer. And it's not uncommon in wartime for different sides to offer prisoners of war a chance to defect and kind of, like, switch sides and then, you know, help them out. It's happened plenty of times in the past, so why not now? Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it's already happened. If there's been, like, some Russians that have been openly like, yeah, let me help you. In fact, here, I will help be a gun for you, too, on the front lines if you wish. I mean, I don't know how well they trust him with that, I guess, but, I mean, given the circumstances, I'm sure they can use any and all the manpower they need. I mean, also, because funny enough, the Ukrainian, military, when it comes to their, like, tanks and their armored vehicles and shit like that, they actually have more than they, now than they started off in the beginning of this war. Because so many of them have just been abandoned and they just pick them up. You know, so it's just, I mean, like these Ukrainian farmers, I guarantee you a lot of them are just holding them in their barns, and as Ukrainian troops pass by, be like, wait, I have a tank for you. You know, it's like, come in my barn, I have a tank that's barely touched. You want it? You know, like, or maybe those farmers are gathering, you know, together and, you know, joining, you know, some Ukrainian forces, like, hey, we have a tank. You know, want our help? I mean, it's like, because of shit like that, they're getting more armored vehicles, you know, than they started with. So it's just like, and honestly, they could potentially use the help of some of these Russian tank crews, you know, that are potentially willing to defect and help them. Give them the incentive. So honestly, I bet if, like, you know, more police and be like, hey, you know, we're not going to shoot you. We'll actually, you know, offer, you know, like, aid if you want to help us. But you have to help us. If not, you're just going to be a POW and tough shit. But if you want to help us, you know, we'll offer you something. But depends how much you're willing to help. You know, it's like, if you won't, like, how much are you willing to defect, basically. And if they're willing to cooperate and help, why not? It just doesn't, I mean, it's just fundamentally better than doing a war crime and like, oh, you're surrendering? Bleh. Fuck you anyway. Looks a lot better on you anyway, too. Even if most of the world is still rooting for you regardless. It's just like, to me, it's the whole fucking bad taste in my mouth when you're just like, oh, POWs, kill them. Because that's still a fucking war crime. Just straight up, flat out. It just still is. Regardless of what the motherfuckers, you know, who are now POWs did. Which again, it's like, I mean, even if there are some dudes who are POWs who commit war crimes, then hold them the fuck accountable then. I mean, they're in your hands now. I mean, you know, you can put them into, like, you know, a fucking military court or some shit at that point. They're in your hands. So it's just like, at that point, you can hold them accountable. I mean, but for the ones that just surrendered and basically, barely fired, like, 4 rounds in their gun, if that, you know, it's just like, offer them a chance to come out and be like, hey, you know, you want to help us? You know, to me, it just seems like, you know, a better incentive. And plus, as the word spreads around the Russian front, which, of course, any officers that hear about that are probably going to be a lot more fucking stricter about defectors or people retreating or routing, you know, but it's like, as the word spreads around that a little more, it's like, I mean, eventually, like we're already seeing it, like I said, but there'll honestly be even more of a bigger wave of Russian troops just en masse surrendering or just defecting or routing. And just full on retreating. Like, there'd just be a lot more waves of that. And if anything, like, these counteroffensives that the Ukrainians have been doing would even be significantly more successful because they can do it potentially with not really having to fire a fucking shot. I mean, it's in fucking Sun Tzu's Art of War, like, you know, like, I mean, like, I forgot exactly the line, but, I mean, but there is legit ways to win a battle if not even firing a shot. Or losing a life, for that matter. So, it just seems like, honestly, it really comes down to, like, this major, like, vengeance spite thing now, at this point, because, like, oh, Russia's government invaded us, so fuck them now. It really just kind of, it's just, again, to the rooted, you know, tribalistic mindset, where it's like, oh, you know, because they did that, so now they can go fuck themselves, and who cares what happens to them. And they just, meaning Russians at this point. It's like, I mean, I can't get with that. I get with, you know, wanting to, you know, defend Ukraine and make sure it's like, hey, you know, they don't have a, you know, no one has a right to be invaded, and is, you know, and that includes Ukraine. So it's like, I mean, it's like, for fuck's sake, you can still, you know, be on their side and, you know, defend them and root, you know, for them as they repel, you know, attacks and shit, while at the same time, you know, wanting the most minimal amount of bloodshed and, especially, you know, the defenders to not commit war crimes, especially if the other side is doing a fuckload of them. Because, like, you know, why stoop to their level? Even if it's not necessarily, like, bombing fucking, you know, residential areas constantly and shit. I mean, just stooping down to the level of committing war crimes is not good. This video does put up a decent case that Ukraine is doomed. I mean, honestly, I don't know. Like, it's for me, I really do truly don't know, like, who's gonna really win fundamentally. Because you have to kind of think about this a little. Like, a lot of Russians' forces in the front lines in Ukraine are outdated Soviet type of hardware. Like, there's only been, like, one destroyed T-90, which is their modern tank. And it's just like, there's not really many modern equipment aside from their aircraft, basically. I mean, and that's kind of saying something a little bit, because honestly, like, he's kind of waiting to, you know, do, like, some more, you know, for two things. One, if NATO escalates to the point and becomes global, a lot of those more modernized and more, like, trained troops and shit are going to be more needed for places like in the Baltics and Poland and shit like that. So not exactly, you know, conscript boys and shit, you know, that you can just use as cannon fodder like in Ukraine. You know, where they can just be given outdated equipment and hope for the best, basically. You know, and two, as well, is because of that. It's because, you know, a lot of these conscripts and outdated shit can be cannon fodder, because who gives a fuck? You don't really need that shit. When you got a lot of modern military hardware at your disposal, you might as well get rid of your old shit and, you know, empty out the storage space for more modern stuff and more modern equipment. So that's what they're doing. And eventually, once they have used enough of the Ukrainians' it's a war of attrition, essentially. Like, Russia's, you know, sending as much of their outdated shit, or at least Putin's government is sending as much outdated shit into Ukraine, hoping that wins, so they could just basically eat up all the fucking anti-tank equipment, all the anti-air equipment, all that type of shit. That's what they're trying to do, but obviously it don't fucking work. Or if it gets wrecked, that's fine. Less material going and maintaining old gear. Win-win for Russia, you know. Exactly. And also, I mean, but kind of the silly thing is, a lot of Ukrainians' equipment is also old Soviet equipment. So when it gets abandoned or captured, or whatever parts from its destroyed tanks are still salvageable, those go straight into the Ukrainian military. Like, they're using that shit. And honestly, there's definitely one. It's like, honestly, it's just, they're similar to the Afghans in a way where they're very resilient. Like, Ukrainians are very resilient people. Like, they are, you know, the type of people who are willing to, like, take, you know, whatever the fuck and adapt it and reconfigure that shit. Maybe, you know, not necessarily in a way like, you know, like the Afghans would and shit, because they, you know, Ukrainians obviously have a lot more resources at their disposal. But they're really good at repurposing shit, even if it's all fucked up and banged up. Like, they're a very resilient type of people for sure, especially in, like, the past 100 fucking years. I think that really shows it. I mean, you know, so it's just like, I mean, because of that, you know, they're able to, you know, take a lot of this old destroyed stuff and, you know, repurpose what they can, and, you know, keep their shit up to date, you know, in a sense. I mean, not like up to date as modernized, but, you know, kept up and maintained with, and be able to, you know, stay on the front and keep fighting, you know, because they at least have spare parts that are available. And, you know, that's why at this point they have more tanks and more armored cars and armored APCs and shit like that than they started, because they've been able to capture all this shit and salvage different parts and all that type of stuff. It, you know, it just shows I mean, it just kind of shows, you know, as another point to the resilience. Or Germany to think about leasing tanks to Ukraine. I wouldn't be surprised. I know a lot of the different railroad lines are still active to and from Ukraine, so wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I wonder how they're gonna try to get aircraft there, because I know there's been talks about sending them aircraft. A lot of people want to, you know, do the whole, like, send the Ghost of Kiev F-22, which honestly I think the Ukrainian Air Force just in general could probably use a couple of those, I guess. I mean, I'd see if, like, some of the other countries want to do it first. Like, honestly, like, hey, Britain, don't you have, like, some spare Typhoon, you know, jet fighters available or something? I mean, you know, it's like, because honestly, we don't need our fucking military budget, you know, enhanced fucking further because of this. Like, I'll say that. Like, I mean, maybe it's, you know, time for some of the other countries to feel what it's like to have a bloated military budget. You kind of feel me? Just like, you know, like, we don't need, like, ours is already being expanded and bloated even further because of this. And it's like, great. Yay. That's good for us. Not. I mean, it's just like, and that's why I critique this whole fucking escalation shit. It's like, I don't necessarily mind having Lend-Lease programs, especially when it comes to food, medicine, and, you know, gear to help them, you know, defend themselves. Like, I mean, I'm fine with that, but, I mean, there needs to be a little bit of a balance in the sense that, like, other countries should all, you know, which they are, obviously, you know, also put in their part, too. So, we're not heavily bloating our fucking military budget, but ours is already butt-fuck bloated. So, I think, you know, like, we're already kind of, like, doing our part with putting, you know, military shit all over the world. So, I mean, at least in this case, you know, other countries, which they have, like, a lot of them have either the same shit that we have or licensed versions of the stuff we have. So, they basically, you know, just have similar or the same equipment as us that they produce on their own and and make. So it's just like, I mean, all in all, it's basically they're still getting our shit. It's just, you know, produced and manufactured under different license names under, you know, from different countries. So it's, I mean, it's like, I mean, it just shows how bloated our shit is, you know, because we give so much of our, you know, tech to our allies and shit, and they basically relicense them and, you know, kind of slightly update them and, you know, kind of, you know, fiddle with it a little bit, you know, make it their own thing. Like the NLAWs, like the British NLAWs, I'm pretty sure those are just licensed military hardware from American technology. So it's just like, I mean, like the British primarily are manufacturing them, and the ones in Ukraine are British made, but it's American tech. It's just licensed for the British. So, same with the AV-8 Harrier, for example. Like the British version is just the Harrier Mark 1. Well, I guess whatever the most up-to-date mark of that is, if they're still using Harriers, but I'm sure they're probably using a different VTOL now at this point. But, I mean, back when they were using them, the British license version isn't the A68 or the AV-8, I believe it was called. And it was just literally called just a Harrier. Mark, whatever the fuck. Mark 1, Mark 2, depending. The British are a little bit more technical with their naming of stuff. We like to add random numbers and names to our shit. Seen the North Korean MRE, it's basically just ham and cheese. I would have figured it would just either be like a potato and like a little bit of bread, or yeah, just like some ham and cheese and maybe a potato. I imagine it's pretty shit. Honestly, like, because of that Ukrainian MRE, that modern 24-hour Ukrainian fuel ration, like, everything else looks kind of like shit. I was showing my coworker who was a veteran, and he was telling me about some of his MREs that he had before, and I showed him that, and he was like, oh my god. It's like, because I was saying, like, man, they're like, you know, being fed like kings or some shit, like, goddamn. I mean, he was just, like, utterly impressed with it. I mean, it's like, because I was saying, it's like, this should straight up just be a standard across the board. It's like, really? No, that should. It's like, because, my god, like, honestly, that Ukrainian MRE, like, I mean, one of my other coworkers kind of was joking, it's like, they kind of looks like prison food, but actually good. I'm like, I think it's just because of how, because of, you know, Steve, MRE, like, how he does his videos, it just kind of looks like that. But, I mean, I was kind of, like, telling about the food and be like, I mean, you know, it's like, but, like, look closely at it. Like, it's actually, like, you know, something that isn't just some random bullshit, you know, or some processed crap or whatever that has preservatives and some different stuff so it lasts long, so you can reuse it if you need it. Like, it's actually legit. Like, it's like they freshly made it in like a big old fat stew, just put it in a bag and like vacuum sealed it and, you know, fridged it up and like packaged it all like that, you know. Like, it looks like it was all made like pretty much like right then and there. And just, you know, like, I mean, that's what made it like so this awesome. I mean, it didn't look like just this, you know, oh, here's just like a raw packed, you know, fucking, you know, just like raw nutritional just muck. It actually looked like just some food, like straight up. And I was like, man, oh, looks so amazing. Oh man, goddamn, Bobby. God damn it, Venom, you son of a bitch. I make myself hungry if that. I gotta stop talking about that MRE. Jesus Christ, it's too good. I guess it says something about it though. Like, if something that you can reminisce about, even if you haven't had it. Oh. Sleeping in the chair, little Zukov. Just a sweet little baby. Just passed right the hell out. Well, maybe not totally passed out. Yeah, you're not totally passed out. You look a little awake. Just a little bit. Just ever so slightly. But you're going to sleep. Sleepy, sleepy little boy. Little sleepy Zukov boy. What in the fuck was that? Like, unironically, what the fuck was that, Zukov? No, that wasn't a fart, by the way. That was just him moaning. I'm gonna be honest, it really does sound like he's taking like a long ass, like airy ass, like fart when he does that. Hey, 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 Zukov. Hey, 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 Zukov. Actually, the guy hears something outside. Actually, look good. Zukov, no. No. There ain't no reason to freak out. You little goof. You big old goofball. There ain't no reason to be freaking out. My goodness. Made me limp out. How to speak redneck. Huh?
I like to call redneck vocabulary, the Alabama boss.
Redneck vocabulary.
If I say, hey, it's down the road a piece, that's a pretty good ways. We're talking probably 5 miles or more. Now, if I say over yonder, that's probably not far. It's like within the same small...
Oh, yonder. Yeah, I know that one.
It's raining like pouring piss out of a boot. It's raining like a cow pissing on a flat rock. It's coming a toad choker out there. It's a lot of damn rain. Around here, we like to drink beer. Sometimes we get 3 sheets to the wind. That means drunk. Your daddy's
3 sheets to...
and he's passed out in the car. He's gonna...
My God, he's got quite the belly.
You need to go get your uncle, help get him in the house. And my personal favorite, it's not what we say in the South, it's what I say. Light it up. This is Alabama boss. Redneck vocabulary.
Oh my God. Yes, it's because it's jeans. Ah! Oh my fucking God. What in the Sam Wells hell? Oh, wowzers. Man, he had quite the gut. That was quite a gut there. So my God, you know, I'm out here and talk about them beers. Like I most certainly can tell there, buddy. I most certainly can tell. It's like you got the love for that brew. And it sure does look like an amazing brew indeed that you've been drinking. Probably not. It's probably just like some weird ass piss water shit. Yeah, did you get all your boofs out? And it's just like the neighbor literally right next door, just parking and going inside and doing whatever, probably having a beer or some shit. You big old ball of goof. Tilda loves beer. That kind of go only appears when you love beer. Yeah, no, seriously. I mean, honestly, though, that's like the one, like thing that you would only see with a man who truly appreciates his beer. When he has his arms out, dude, they were just like, I don't think his arms is, touch the sides that often. I don't think they touch the sides that much anymore. Seeing what random funnel shit is happening. Wow. Wow. Amazing. It's even worse than yesterday. There's even more green bullshit. Like, come on. Why must the 24-hour cycle? It is never ending. There's just Ukraine news. That's what I mean. It's like it's pretty much like nothing but. I mean, but like the only place I really am just like looking at for it is the Live UA map and Emiko Network at this point. Which I don't think he's been on at any point. Oh, that's the audio. I'll check the Live UA map to see if there's anything going on there. Actually, I'll turn it down just a little bit because I know there's going to be a goddamn ad at some point. I watch CNN, I know, it's disgusting. Why? CBS News, the Biden administration allowed a Russian plane to land to bring back Russian diplomats to the UN who have been expelled on spying charges. Oh, there's that ad. Like, oh my goodness. Result in a strike on Croston Town. Ukraine's national anthem being sung at Taiwan stands with Ukraine rally at Taipei's Liberty Square. So, stuff like that's going on. Russian bomber bombed Overwatch Town in Zhytomyr region. So, and rally in Almaty in support of Ukraine. Almaty? Where in the fuck is that? Kazakhstan. There's just some different so I mean it looks like there's just been like a lot of different rallies and support going around. Yeah, honestly, really not much else. Beep. That was indeed a beep. Yeah, I mean, not really much. I've also been kind of quiet in comparison in the last couple days. I'm sure some of that's due to the weather because I know it's been really fucking muddy as shit. So, that's probably making a lot of the armored units and mechanized troops and shit bogged down to fuck. Burbs. Good old burbs. Yeah. As you can see, or as you can hear at least, it's quiet. Not really much to be seen because of that. It's just... bum. Let's see here. Anything. Something. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna check out some news elsewhere. Stop in the tube. Because obviously its algorithms are telling me one thing and one thing only. It's like, oh my god. No. Go to some Poland talks to what? Deliver Soviet airplanes to Ukraine as Zelensky pleads for fighter jets. Soviet era? Some guy Let's Go ran license plate. Wow. Goddamn wow. That's just kind of lame. What the fuck? Wow. Dumb. Hey. No. No. Please sanction. Fleeing sanctions, oligarchs see safe ports for super yachts. Wow. Fuck these stupid ass little oligarchical bitches. Zukov, no. 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 Hey! No. 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 Stop it. No. Oh my god. It really just straight up is mostly even on the little news app I have here. Wait, what's this? Amazon launches brutal crackdown at Staten Island warehouse ahead of union vote. Go fucking figure. Battle between the labor organizers at Amazon warehouse on Staten Island during an ugly event of Universe this month. Well, no shit, it's Amazon. What do you expect? One that could make the New York Patrick Club the company's first facility for U.S. workforce. New York PD arrested 3 union activists at the warehouse after a manager complained that one of them was trespassing. Chris Small is a former employee and thorn on the side of billionaire founder Jeff Bezos. Good. Was delivering catered chicken pasta for lunch when at least 5 cops confronted him at the facility's visitor parking lot demanding you leave. Bystander footage revealed the local precinct's top cop showed up to 911 targeting Smalls, who's the president of the Amazon Labor Union and is fighting to unionize the fulfillment center known as JFK8. Amazon's word Smalls has been simmering since 2020 when he led a walkout for over unsafe work conditions during COVID. At the time, Vice exposed internal memos indicating that Bezos and other Amazon bigwigs discussed a plan to smear Smalls by calling him not smart or articulate and making him the face of the entire union organizing movement and to discredit unionization. Critics and union crusaders decried the comments about Smalls, who is black, as racist. Wow. Oh, wait, so he's black too. And, he's black, so he's not exactly smart or articulate, and, such a travesty that they're making him the face of this union. Wow. What a bunch of fucking scumbags. Like, I'm not even really, in favor of unionization of Amazon just on the virtue because Amazon should just be abolished and just shut down as a thing. I could give a fuck about, people's little modern creature comforts about that shit. I don't use Amazon, so I could give a fuck about their weird ass little, you get the same day. It's like, fuck you, I could care less. I bought it, it's being shipped to me, I know it's coming. That's all that matters to me as far as I care. Fuck your modern convenience if it's gonna be so exploitative. And it's, so disastrous and dangerous and harmful to fucking workers. So go fuck yourself. Should be nationalized. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'd rather it just not be a thing. Just period. Flat out. Just seize all the assets, nationalize, all the fucking, on the ground type of shit, and just abolish Amazon as an entity. Just morph it all under the USPS, the United States Postal Service and shit. Just morph it all under that. So, of course, they're also using cops to target a black guy, too. Go figure. Probably on the idea that, a cop might, fuck him up a little. And he'll think twice, after getting the shit kicked out of him by a cop. Guarantee you that was the thought process. Go fucking figure. I'm also gonna get a vote going on Wednesday too, so luckily I don't have to worry about that shit. But fucking the sales manager and one of the meta bosses, my boss's 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 boss, or whatever the fuck. Just a super boss, basically. They're coming in and saying, unfortunately, but we have to, start raising the prices on, some of the stuff in the Chinese food department in your deli and blah, blah, blah. It's like, man, if I wasn't working out as a customer and I was hearing that, I would just bitch you out right fucking there. It's like, we could barely, because already today, so many people are fucking complaining how they could barely, start affording a lot of the shit because it's just getting overpriced, beyond fucking ridiculousness. And then the other day, I hear that shit. It's like, but it's unfortunate and all. It's like, fuck off. You don't give a fuck about it being unfortunate. It's just like, you just want more of the fucking, consumers, bucks and shit, and trying to fucking scalp whatever's all left out of them because they, need necessities like groceries and shit. So go fuck yourself. All you're doing is trying to maximize your fucking coffers, and that's it. You don't give a fuck about, us or, the consumers on that front. So it's like, fucking eat dick with that, it being unfortunate. It's like, that's fucking stupid shit. Give me a break. Thinking, especially me, think I'm buying that. It's just so that, they can get a little extra out of their fucking bonuses. And also, fucking, our, store manager apparently is, if we don't have enough people at our fucking department, it just won't be open. And one of our employees was mentioning that to our store manager about some, on top of some other shit. And he's like, oh, well, we can have that closed and it's not a problem. I mean, you should all be considered lucky to have, a job, and shit. It's just like, the fuck? Like, excuse me, bitch? Like, so really? We're the lucky ones? Like, you wouldn't be getting, more of your fucking profits and your Christmas bonuses and your fucking other, like, springtime, summer bonuses and all this other shit if it weren't for us, bitch. Like, like the fuck, we're lucky. Like, you're the lucky one. Like, I mean, the only thing we're lucky about is if we actually get, treated like a human being by you. So, like, fuck off of this, oh, we're lucky shit. It's like, god damn, it's like, it's just fucking, like, beyond, like, utterly gross. Just straight up. And takes just the human equation entirely out of it. Like, utterly. I mean, so, at least for me, at this point, it's like, depending on how this unit contract goes, and I guess also how many people are left within the next month or two, like, that's gonna kind of dictate, at least my, tenure there specifically. Not really necessarily at the union, but at least, just working there, because, like, either I'm gonna switch at another department, or I'm just gonzos, because fuck that. Like, I mean, I'm definitely not gonna be working at a department where there's, like, 4 people and you can barely run it as it is. It's like, I'd rather maybe help out meat or produce at that point. If it ain't that, then alright, I'm out. Because it ain't worth my fucking time at that point. But if I can at least get something like produce, that'd also be a little better, less customer service shit to deal with. So, nice on me. Plus, at a certain point, you're pretty much, especially if you're closing up, you're pretty, like, you're by yourself, basically. Near the end of it, so that's always pretty nice and chill. I like that. So, I mean, honestly, produce would actually be a pretty legit gig. So, I mean, it's just like, if shit, kind of goes haywire daily-wise, like, at best, switch around to a different department that also has more pay. Produce, and me, as far as I'm aware, their departments make a little more than, deli does, anyway. Honestly, I think especially food departments, they all should just have, like, just a really high paid in general and just across the board, because it's, food handling, in general. So, either way, smoking bowl while in a hot tub is definitely a worthwhile venture. Wait, what? Well, yeah, no shit. What? Hold on. I'm in a bomb-ass pool with a whirlpool. That spin too was awesome. And after I was done rolling around, I got a hot tub baked for an hour. Oh, nice. But, yeah. What's honestly kind of funny is that there's a lot of people, at least who are customers and shit, that are pretty pro-union. Just because I'm, was just wearing just, my IWW gator and just, my typical shit. So it's like, I really love your union getup. So yeah, I'm just like, oh, well, thanks. I was letting them know about the whole vote and stuff, and they were actually kind of giggity about it. Funny enough, it was weird. Well, not really weird, but actually just really cool. But, okay, honestly, like, especially, I'm kind of thinking, like, I probably do want to just kind of go gonzo, at least, like, if our department it has an exodus. Because if that's the case, then, I'll at least use my spare time to just, like, prop up some signs out front and just be like, because of, XYZ, our, deli is now closed, and the manager does not care. He's, fine with undermining, profits and, undermining our, life and our pay, for his greed. And just have that out, maybe, have a couple times where I'm just kind of sticking out playing some songs and shit. Just kind of annoyed the shit out of him with that. And then, because honestly, like, just think about this. Like, if you have a grocery store that has a deli department and it's closed because it can't have enough, because there's not enough people to man it, then, like, there's a lot of people that just straight up aren't going to fucking show up. And they'd rather go to a store that does have one, because a lot of people sometimes just want to grab a couple chicken tendies, or that's it. Or some people just want to grab, like, a couple Joes while they're, to snack on while they're fucking, shopping or something. Like, people go to deli for various different reasons, aside from just grabbing some food or some deli meat and shit like that. Some people have a snack while they're shopping. Or some people just are grabbing a quick little lunch and leaving after that. It's just like, I mean, you just killed off a fat chunk of your profit there and a fat chunk of your consumer base. So it's like, of course, you know, him being kind of a dipshit ain't gonna, you know, being the store manager ain't gonna care. Because apparently, we as the workers are the lucky ones. It's like, fuck you, bitch, you are. And honestly, if he really thinks that, then let's see it. Like, honestly, I'd encourage the other departments to do the same. Make it so it's just checkers and courtesy and that's it. I mean, because honestly, they're going to barely have fuck all to do because no one's going to show up. Like, honestly. Just like, you know, step by step, chunk by chunk walkout. I mean, like, even with this new contract and shit, it will basically, you know, in a way, kind of force his hand to ensure that, you know, he's not just abide by that new contract, but also fucking even going the extra step. Or just stepping the fuck down. That'd be better. Crazy fucking thing is, the guy used to be a pastor. A fucking pastor, too. Which explains why he's a greedy fuck. Peddling fucking, you know, people's coins and coffers in the collection plate. So, go figure. Probably still is on part-time. I wouldn't be surprised just because, you know, it'd be, you know, a total fucking, you know, tax avoidance scheme. Religion is one of the biggest tax frauds in America. Strike till he steps down. Honestly, I mean, if there's a mass exodus, like, I would probably ask, like, hey, even though you all probably won't, you know, become back or you're all moving into different stores and shit, if you have a day off or two, want to, like, you know, help have a little extra number or two to make a little strike. Because honestly, it would be the people in the neighborhood, too. I most certainly get them, you know, be like, hey, you know, conditions are so bad and the store manager doesn't care, and by proxy, he doesn't care about you as the consumer and as the customer. So, you know, join up. You know, demand that the store manager is replaced with one who's, you know, actually going to care about the community and the people that aren't just shopping there, but the people that work there. Like, dead ass. Because if he does, you know, because if he doesn't, you know, care, then we don't need that. And it's not just, oh, fine, I'll improve. It's like, no, out. It's like, that's the demand, and there ain't no budging. Either that or just step down as manager. So, like, maybe you can still work there as the assistant. How about that? You could be second. But guess what? You're probably going to have to, you know, huff it a little more. I mean, we'll have to see. Because obviously a strike can't be just one person, so. But if I could get at least, you know, enough employees to potentially be convinced, you know, and get customers involved too, because I definitely know there's enough people around the neighborhood that definitely support it. Sensor manager and assistant manager. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. The manager is like the main guy or the main head, and the assistant manager is usually the second. Fills up the role that, you know, when needed, like, or like helps out, you know, mainly with the different managerial tasks and shit like that. So they do a lot of, they pretty much are, you know, managers themselves, but they're just like backup managers basically. Like the 2, the 3, and the 4th, you know, backup type of situation. I mean, there also are different levels of manager, like, you know, there's store manager, and then there's like the department managers, and then like the PICs, the people in charge or person in charge, which are just kind of, you know, when the actual managers are gone, they're pretty much to fill in. But they don't handle all like the actual like store managerial roles. They just, you know, usually will, if there's anything that store managers need for, they will usually leave notes and stuff like that. But our manager don't give a fuck. He usually leaves lists and bullshit for all these PICs to do. That's his fucking job, and he usually tries to slink out when they show up. So The way the manager at my local home is basically the manager staying in his office doing paperwork while the assistant did patrols around the store. Yeah, pretty much. Our assistants basically will not just really do that, but they will fucking, just do all the bullshit that, the store manager should be doing too. But he'll be slunked up in his office and, once he's done with whatever paperwork, he'll just leave. Like, there's no fucking communication, no, seeing how his departments are holding up. None of that shit. Zilch. Like, if I see him around, it's because he's ordering all of his other assistant managers or ordering the department managers about some shit. Or wondering why certain things aren't the way he wants it. Or whatever the fuck. Like, there's one time, actually earlier today, because of low manpower, where we had our sandwich bar closed, where we still had the coverings on top of them, but everything was set up. So if somebody asked for a sandwich, we'd make them one, but we wouldn't have it, like, shown it open, so we wouldn't, like, get a fucking line build up or whatever. And earlier this morning, he showed up, it's like, this is open, right? Just all, like, just like, what? Like, and honestly, it's just like, why do you, it's like, honestly, especially knowing, like, his position about it, it's like, why do you give a fuck? Like, you say, we're lucky to have a job here, because you could just have this closed and you'd still be fine, so why do you care that's open anyway? Oh, just because there happens to be enough people, or, to your specifications and shit, just in the department alone, even though we're heavily understaffed anyway, so, it's like, we can't really have that open and multitask, like, a bunch of 1,000 different mini cogs, and this bigger, broader fucking profit cog you're trying to make. Like, yeah, no. I mean, it's just like, fuck that. And also, it's like, our more sandwich person, we don't have her anymore, so it's just like, now, whatever pre-made sandwiches are made, it's just like, whenever our fucking manager can get to it. The days that they're able to come in, either our department manager or one of the assistants for our department are able to come in, that's the only time sandwiches are able to get made, if they're able to come in early in the morning. So it's just like, honestly, it's, I mean, it's inevitable. I can already tell it's fucking inevitable. It's just a matter of time at this point. So I'm just kind of, I guess I'm doing what China's doing to the whole Russia-Ukrainian war. I'm biding my time and waiting for the moment to strike, basically. Well, not literally strike, but, pounce. I mean, I don't know, I might. I'll see if I can, word it out. Because I know that some of the PICs and shit, they really want us to stay open and is trying to see if there can get people in there. Because he likes a lot of our food and stuff, especially, with some of the crew we got right now, and a lot of them are going to be going anyway. And so it's just like, I mean, if that's going to be totally closed because there's not enough people to man it, that's going to piss off not just customers, but also other employees too, because a lot of employees go over there for their fucking lunch. They come over to us and get a fucking hookup too, by the way. And because not just employee discounts, but because at least a lot of us will purposely discount it, and adjust the price on the fucking like menu shit before printing the tag. I mean, and because yeah, they're employee, especially the paper getting at least concurrently. It's like, yeah, it ain't worth paying this overpriced fucking shit. I mean, because honestly, it's not like the food ain't bad. It ain't worth like the quality that is, but it's just like the price for it's just way too fucking much. Either those prices have to go down, or fucking wages have to accommodate for that. Just not just for our store, but across the board. Because people are bitching more and more about how they can't afford shit when it comes to different things, and they're either getting less or just not bothering and getting something else. I mean, we don't even do like our 8-piece sales anymore. We literally only do that for our chicken tenders now, which actually is, considering that they're $9 a fucking pound for $5 a pound, that's almost half off. That's actually I think a little over half off. Right? No, just a tad on, yeah, just so almost a half off. So it's like and some of our meats too, like some of it is risen to like $10.99, Like, our roast beefs, all of them are like $14.99, and our cheapest one used to be $10.99, but now it's $13.99. It jumped up $3 fucking. So the cheapest one now is a dollar cheaper. You know, it's like, oh wow. When it was a $4 difference, and honestly, that's why, because people are buying that so much. They're like, oh, let's bump that price because it's such high demand. Because the other shit's so fucking expensive, morons. That's why. You know, corporate logic, you know, don't fucking compute with this shit. It doesn't. Though, granted, they're never on the ground to understand it. They'd rather shove their head up their ass and be like, la la la, don't hear that. Until it bites them in the ass, until it's too late. I mean, that's why, you know, Starbucks and Amazon's been so fucking go about being really anti-union. They tried to union bust this shit. Because, I mean, if it's bad under... And this is also with a unionized shop, by the way. Like, and by the way, also, too, like, I'm sure a lot of our problems aren't, you know, necessarily, you know, unique to our store either, but at the same time, it probably is. Like, I'm sure other stores do legitimately have decent store managers that are not total fucking shitbags. You know, so, like, there's definitely, like, it's, you know, like, it's more of, like, an anecdote, at least when it comes to my experience here and shit with my work. But, at least when it, like, comes to other stores, I'm sure it's different. Like, I bet if I was working at a, you know, a different shop that was, you know, still a little bit of a distance and shit. And in fact, there's actually like a different under our same union, but the Freddy's after they got their concessions after the strikes before Christmas, I heard it's actually really good. So that's actually kind of one of my backup plans, because then it's still adjacent to my union. I can still make advancements into that shit. And also, at least for me personally, it's just going the opposite direction. I just have to ride my bike because it's right off this little watershed and this bike trail that is just like literally like a hop, skip, and a jump, basically. Like if I was walking, it'd probably like take it like 30 minutes to like an hour or some shit. I don't know. I have to time it, but I mean, biking it though, it'd be like a little hustle bustle, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes if that. So, I mean, it's at least like a little backup plan. And also I got a friend, and my roommate works near that store too. So, it's, you know, if anything, you know, there'd be some, you know, some positives. I mean, the negatives for me mainly is just the commute, because I like the convenience of just having to walk like 5 to 6 minutes. I do like that convenience. It's just right there, because then I could run home, check on Zukov, you know, on my lunch breaks and stuff. I mean, at least that's kind of important to me. I don't want him being cooped up in his, you know, cage while I'm gone from work all day. You know, so, I mean, if that's the case, then I have to, like, really, you know, up my dad and, like, you know, even my roommate a little bit if he's here while I'm gone, to, like, just let him out. And if any of you are gone, then just put him in his cage then, and when you're back, just let him out for a while. You know, I would have to at least make sure, you know, that's the case. Because I know he's probably going to get into mischief while I'm gone, and I still don't totally trust him, because he still gets into mischief now, even when I'm here. So, I just want to make sure I try to avoid that, too. But as long as at least one of them's awake and aware of him and is just paying attention to him, he should be okay. Because he just wants the attention, that's all. Oh, he's just a sleepy little baby over there. But, yeah, I mean, honestly, that's really just kind of like my thing. You know, like, at least when it comes to working there right now, it's just like, it's really this whole fucking convenience factor. That's really kind of the main thing at this point, especially with Zukov now. Like, if I didn't have him, it, honestly, you know, come home on my lunch break, having a quick toke or whatever, that wouldn't be, like, whatever, I could give a fuck. But, like, and now that Zukov's there, that's, like, Like, I could probably get a ride, but, you know, it's like, it'd basically be the equivalent of me being here on my, like, one of my, like, little 15-minute breaks and shit. Like, I'd just only be here for such a short time, and you'd basically have the time to stretch his legs and maybe go outside real quick, and you'd be back in there. It's like, that's kind of shitty. So, it's, I mean, that'd be the only factor, at least with that. But, I don't know. We'll just have to see how this shit goes. Because things at my work are just getting fucking ridiculous. Like, I don't think the conditions have been as bad as they have now at this point. And I wonder how they can fix that. Oh, I don't know, ways to fucking wages and increase the benefits, and I don't know, yeah, hell, fucking sign-up bonuses for new people. Something, like, goddamn. At this point, it could literally be anything. But I think most exceptionally of all, higher wages. And hopefully this new contract has a very significant bump in those wages. Because that would help. Because even if there is a max exodus, then that could actually not necessarily be a bad thing for me. Because I can wing it out, maybe be in a different department for a little bit. And once to get a pretty good chunk of people back in there, then I can just swing back in there. But, I don't know. Well, like, as soon as I get a chance to see what that contract looks like on Wednesday, I'll find out. Wait, my friend Stefan texted me because he's at the bar with my friend. Melty and I were having a mini debate. Is the great General Monk related to Mormonism? And no, it's not. General Monk related to Mormonism? It's like, no. It's like that weird, I don't know what the name of it is, but it's like that weird ass like Black Israelite religion, whatever the fuck it's called. And Monk apparently like had a lightsaber and a crazy ass modern automatic weapon back in like the days of woe. And straight up, like, apparently led all the white people on this, like, march of death or some shit. I don't even know. It's some weird fucking shit. It's like, huh? I mean, it sounds like something I'd concoct into, like, a crazy weird-ass acid trip or something. It probably was, now thinking about it. Like, some dude really, like, bumped up on some acid, just fucking made it up. It just sounds like it, honestly. General Monk, man. General Monk, though. I love it. General Monk. Oh, I got this real quick. There we go. Okie dokie. Squeaky Mouse gets the cheese, after all. Yep. Score for sons of bitches, they always like to make sure they have all the cheese they can get. All the cheese they need. No cheese for us, though. We're more like fat-ass rats, more than squeaky mice. We're little squeaky mice that are starving and cannibalizing ourselves, whilst the rats are having a feast of cheese. Whilst they enjoy their weird, like, sex orgies and bountiful plethoras of cheese, we get to cannibalize ourselves and scrounge to survive. Eventually, those bound and plentiful fat rats are gonna eventually, you know, run out of cheese, though. And eventually, they'll cannibalize themselves. Whether we get there first, or whether they do it to themselves. And I really like how Ukraine is pretty peaceful with the kind of casual commerce and shit. That's nice. That's legit some good shit. Like I've said, just background music. I just been having in the background. Here. Let's see. Ooh. I just got some good neck cracking. Oh, that felt nice. Ooh. Oh, I just got, like, my lower fucking, like, chunk of my spine good there. Ooh. Now my mid spine. Oh, that felt nice. Oh. Oh, that felt good. Oh, Dios mío. That felt real nice. Real splendid indeed. My God. There. Man, it's either like this Ukraine stuff or just memes. It's like I view memes on my own time. I mean, it's like, come on, goddamn. Oh, what the fuck? Massive yawning. No. Oh my God. It's just like either like the Russia-Ukrainian war or memes. There literally is nothing else on my feed. Like, goddamn. Can't there at least be something of a thing? That isn't just memes? So come on now. Guess I could try the live VM app, see what's going on with that. I'm gonna turn this way the fuck down in case there's an ad that's gonna explode into my face. Cause that's, I think it's so fucking annoying. Troops of the Russian Federation in Busha are shelling houses. Cars are shit. Well, So European is still just another chunk of the front lines that are heavy duty as fuck. So they're probably going to try to make a counter push on the, or a counter push on the counter push that the Ukrainians are doing. And there's the ad, I knew it. Oh my god, I turned this way the fuck down and this is loud as shit. Oh my god. Like my volume was like way the, like at 10% and that blasted. Fuck me. God damn what I'm, ugh. Like there needs to unironically be like some legal fucking crackdowns on ads like that. They did with TV. Like they need to do that for this shit. I think they did it for like radio too. So it's like, yeah, they most certainly need to do it for like this. It's very fucking annoying. Boom. Oh, Adam something is posted some 40 minutes ago, because I know he's been keeping tabs of this shit too. Not much has happened through the night. In the meantime, special economic descent continues. Oh my god. $1 US is worth 122 Russian rubles. Well, 122.5 Russian rubles. Oh my fucking god. Man, Russia's gonna be in the most massive depression. Probably even worse than the Great Depression. Like, holy fuck. Like, that trend is definitely gonna continue. YouTube recommended me 8 sperm killing mistakes you make daily. Like, okay. Captured Russians, given food and tea by Ukrainians. Well, that's cool. Can we keep doing shit like that? Giving them incentive to feel like, hey, maybe we can help them out. Give them more of a chance to have an opportunity to defect, switch sides, be pro-Ukrainian forces. I mean, like I was saying earlier at the beginning of the stream with that shit, seems like it'd be a better way to try to get more Russian troops to surrender and potentially even switch sides. Let's see. There really is. It's just like I'm just getting like an onslaught of memes. Oh my god. Man. I mean, it's like there hasn't even really been that much updates and shit with this whole like war thing. So now it's just like it's just being like the main talk right now just for the sake of it. It's like, I mean, can we update ourselves if other shit that was going on in the meantime? Since it's been legitimately fairly quiet for the most part on the Ukrainian fronts, which, I mean, that's legitimately a good thing. I mean, because if anything, there's just been like counteroffensives going on, and even more of a, you know, collapsing of, you know, Russian logistics on the ground. So it's just like, at this point, you know, I can just, I mean, you know, it's like, might as well try to update ourselves, you know. It's like, what was going on in the past week, you know, outside of the war and shit, yo. Because evidently Amazon's doing more union busting tactics and shit. Like, that's a thing going on. There's a vote, you know, going on for, you know, local union up here in the Pacific Northwest and shit. So it's like, you know, there's labor news going on. So it's like, come on, there's shit going on. It isn't just like war. So, I mean, all in all, might have another night where I called early. So, I am a little hungry though, so I might actually do that legitimately, just to grab myself some food and all that fun stuff. Shock and release. Putin's cabinet says they were shocked by his invasion of Ukraine. Man. I think it explains why even that Russian oligarch was like, yeah, I got $1 million bounty on that son of a bitch for any, you know, like Russian official who, you know, that goes out to arrest him or whatever. It's just like, oh. You're gonna need to do a little bit more than just fucking arrest anti-war protesters there, Putin. Like, even your own fucking government ain't happy about this. I mean, even the ones that were a little bit for this, like, even they're not happy now at this point. Like, even they're pissed. So, it's just, it definitely ain't looking good for them. I mean, honestly, too, just the Russian people in general. I think I'll grab myself some food and all that fun stuff, so I'll call it good for now. Peace out, and I'll see y'all next.